Of this video is to talk about my macaroni and cheese. Some people have asked me to my recipe, and I really don't have like a recipe. So I'm gonna kind of talk about how I do my macaroni and cheese and that kind of thing. And then I want to try to do a second video where I'm actually going to actually do some of that. So first of all, my macaroni and cheese is it's made with sort of how I feel. Okay, if I'm feeling pretty good, my macaroni and cheese is gonna be pretty good. If I'm feeling pretty bad, it's gonna be like, oh, it tastes okay, but it could have been better type of attitude. So I'm going to go based upon my good feeling. But some things you're going to hear me say, it kind of depends. It kind of depends. Sometimes I do this. So really the macaroni and cheese, it's kind of whatever you make it, whatever your taste buds are telling you you want to do. Because I've put onions in my macaroni and cheese before. I've put broccoli, chicken, and a combination of all those as well before. So the important part is I'm going to give you the base or the basics. So the basics is your macaroni. Now the kind of pasta I use, you'll see that in that next video. And also the cheese I use certain kind of cheeses, okay? I don't like to venture out to new cheeses or anything like that, or brands, I should say. The Sargenta cheese and the Kraft cheese. Those cheese and even though Velveeta is not a cheese, a real cheese, but sometimes I do put it in there, especially because it can make the macaroni and cheese a little bit more creamier. But it's not a necessity. The Kraft, I mean, yeah, the Velveeta, it's not necessary. But having cheese that you like, a lot of the white cheeses, the Italian cheeses, I like sharp cheddar. My son Malcolm does not like sharp cheddar. I don't know why he doesn't like it, but it gives the macaroni and cheese this different kind of flavor. So, but it's not necessary to have that either, especially if you're Malcolm. You probably wouldn't want to put the sharp cheddar in there. But I like, which you'll see the cheeses because I'll show them the next time. But it's like the 5 cheese blend, Italian blends. I like the Italian blend. I'm not too into the Mexican blend, but more of the Italian blend because it is a pasta dish that's more Italian to me based than it is a Mexican base. So I prefer Italian blend cheeses. Milk, I think you can use any kind of milk, 1%, 2% whole milk, doesn't really matter. But milk is most definitely a necessity because the cheeses, it needs that milk to kind of help it to be a little bit more creamier. Okay. The sometime ingredient I use is eggs. Or I should say 1 egg. I'll use 1 egg sometimes. And how I would do that is I would pour my milk in a cup and I will beat the egg into there and then I would pour it over the macaroni before I put the cheese in it and kind of fold it all in there and try to get everybody with milk and eggs. Also, another sometime ingredient is butter. Now, I usually when I make it, I'm making a big pan, that the big casserole pan, those aluminum pans you can buy. Um, But if you're making a smaller, of course, all this is going to be based upon how much cheese you're going to need based upon how much you're actually going to make. And my macaroni and cheese, it goes fast. The dish does goes fast, so it's not like it's you're making too much. But butter is a sometime thing. It's just if I feel like today putting butter in it, because the cheese itself has a oily, buttery type of texture anyway. So it's not necessary. So your egg is not necessary, your 1 egg, and the butter is not necessary. But what is necessary is your cheese and your milk and your pasta. Those are your 3 main ingredients. So then you just choose the different cheeses that you like I said. And now in that Italian blend, there's mozzarella, there's Assaggio brand cheese in there. So the mozzarella has more of a stringy type because you just put 1 or 2 cheeses in there. Parmesan, oh, I like Parmesan. So usually I get an extra thing of the Parmesan, maybe a 1 cupper or a 2 cupper if I can find a 2 cup one, and I will use that as well. And a secret ingredient that I put in mine is breadcrumbs, and I'll show you the breadcrumbs when I do make the video when I'm actually going to make the macaroni and cheese. So breadcrumbs. Now you can actually buy Kraft sells some like shake and bake type of breadcrumbs with their cheese that you can, I guess, put on chicken, all that kind of stuff. So I started there, but my husband, he bought a big box of the, what is it called, the breadcrumbs, Italian Parmesan or something like that, breadcrumbs. So I use that breadcrumb in there, in my macaroni and cheese. So I believe that's it. So the milk, you'll see how much milk you put on there. And you're actually going to have milk in there where you're thinking, wow, this is too much milk. And that's fine. You want it to kind of be like that because that cheese is actually going to mix with that milk and it's going to cook in there when you put it in the oven. Now, I always bake mine. I don't make macaroni and cheese. Now, I have mixed my cheese on the stove before to see what would happen and to see if I can get more consistency of the cheese in there and have it to bake less time. But I prefer the cheese melting naturally in the oven. Um, so it's really your preference. To cook that cheese on the stove takes a long time compared to just putting it all in a dish, put it in the oven, let it melt. And sometimes I will take it out of the oven if I feel like I didn't mix my cheese well, and I'll mix it in there a little bit better to have cheese consistency throughout the macaroni, and then I put it back in there. And I might even then sprinkle some more extra cheese on top. It depends on how cheesy it is. If it's really cheesy, I don't throw no more cheese on it. But if I feel like, oh, it can stand some more cheese, I will sprinkle my Parmesan and mozzarella and the sharp cheddar because I like those colors. See, the sharp cheddar has that orange color in there. And you can get a mild. You don't have to get sharp cheddar. You can get a mild cheddar. So it doesn't have to be the sharp cheddar. So Malcolm, hint, hint, you probably could come get a mild cheddar instead of the sharp cheddar. You might even like it better. I just like the contrast of those two colors and stuff. So now you can get a contrast of color too with the Velveeta cheese, which is, like I said, it's not really a cheese. Velveeta cheese spread is probably what it's probably called. Um, so I believe that's it. That's all. It simply is that. And it looks like this video is 7 minutes long, over 7 minutes to explain that. So I'll do a cooking one, and when I get ready to make it, I don't know when I'm going to make it because macaroni and cheese is not something I make a lot, make all the time, but it is a most definitely a signature dish of mine, and we all really enjoy that dish. And but we usually have a certain type of meal ensemble that we like to have with the macaroni and cheese. So I don't think we're going to have it this weekend, but when I do make it, I will make a video from that. Okay. And I hope this is helpful to just talk a little bit about it. So you can almost just basically go on how you feel, the cheeses you like, or if you want to try something new, those kind of things. So one thing I do want to mention too, one time I had a lot of macaroni, and because when you put the cheese in there with your macaroni in your pan, cheese takes up the space in your macaroni. So I was melting the cheese in the microwave so it could be less, so I can pour it in there and not have my macaroni falling out of the pan. So I've done that before. Just a little bit of a um, um, just something I wanted to throw out there, even though I only did it one time. So excuse me. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. Um, if not, oh well. No, I'm just kidding. But I hope this was helpful. Thank you.